Hello, hello, and welcome to the Coaches Lounge show with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley. You are in the right place because this is a wonderful show that I created. Now it's been 4 years ago because I told myself everybody's getting love, speakers, podcasters, all that, which is wonderful because I'm one of them too. But I never really seen people that are educators and mentors and coaches that are kind of getting that love too. Because we're always in the back, we're kind of like, okay, we're helping everybody else. You see the coaches, they're like, come on, you got to go. They're pushing everybody. But then you don't really get to see them out front sometimes because they're always making sure that the person that they're helping is out front, which is amazing. And that's what I do too. But I wanted to make sure I could create a show to give love to all those educators, all those mentors, all those coaches that deserve that love. Because think about it, they are helping other people. They are advocating other people to push their light. I always say you're all the lighthouse of the world. Well, they're helping people push their lighthouse of the world out there. So I am so excited because every time I have a guest, especially when they're the queens, I always call the lady queens because I look at them as royalty, that we have an amazing lady. And it's really interesting because I just met her recently through another queen, Elena Rodriguez. Awesome queen, awesome lady. And she always gives me, when she says, well, Barbara, I have other people. And every time she tells me about somebody, I'm like, oh no, there's another celebrity. There's another celebrity. So this lady, Roxy Rocker, and I told her, I said, I love your last name because you rock. So it fits. It really fits. And she had my heart at the beginning. She had my heart because what she loves and she teaches on, and you can tell, as you're going to see, it's oozing out of her all the time, is really helping people that are dealing with disability in every capacity. And understand that they are human, they are gifted, they have a light in them, and a lot of people need to stand down and really understand that. And I love how she said, you know what? I've not only been there and done it, but I want to help others see that this is not just, put into the wayside or anything. They are important in our lives. So I want you to really, you're going to see that love that comes out of her. Because she just, like I said, she oozes it out and it just affected this, it just contagious. So with that, after this break, we will bring on the wonderful celebrity, Roxy Rocker. Barbara J. Beckley, and I'm a visibility and social media strategist.
I'm dancing to the music.
Oh, look at you. See? Oh my God, lady. I am just so happy. Before we even start, I just have to just say thank you for your time that you made to be on the Coaches Lounge with Barbara Beckley. Like I said, I love to spotlight people that are just changing the universe. So thank you.
You are super welcome. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
And I was just thinking, because I want to say before we get into talking to you and understanding how you're a lighthouse to the world, especially when it comes into about disability, that we met on another platform. In fact, I was part of a summit from another queen that we both know, Queen Elena Rodriguez.
Give her some love. Elena's amazing.
She is amazing. I can sing her praises. And with her, I always tell people, you hang around people that are like-minded, that are amazing, like we're talking about Elena, because there's going to be a whole lot of other people in her group that are the same. And this lady, she just gave me so much love because I was doing like a 20-minute talk on one of Elena's summits. And this lady, I said, Roxy Rocker. I said, oh, I like her. The first thing I said, I like her last name. That's the first thing I said. And then you were showing me so much love as I was talking. And I was like, and I felt it, and it's so nice to get that love because, you never know who's listening. Sometimes you're like, I hope that people get what I'm saying. And I hope it's reaching out to people. And Roxy just gave me so much love that night. So I got to give you hearts. Yeah, so forth. And didn't even know me. She didn't even know me. And she was just showing me so much love.
But I felt you. That
Yeah,
was the most important. When you were feeling my love, I was feeling what you were putting out there as love too. I felt too.
yeah, yeah. And that's what it's all about. And you can
Mm.
really know when that's why I would say when you meet people like that, don't
Yes.
lose them.
Mm.
Do
No.
not, because you don't get that many out there like that.
Mhm.
When you do get that love and that connection. So, Roxy, you know what? Until you tell me, Barbara, you be go bye bye.
No,
I love you for a
not
little
at
bit,
all.
for a
Yeah,
bit,
no, no, no.
because I love the love.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, talking about love. Now, lady, like
Mm-hmm.
I said, you epitome of everything. I mean, you're a podcast now, you have your own show. I want you to talk about
Mm-hmm.
later a little bit about that because that's powerful. Also, you're an advocate for
Yes.
something very important right now in this world that's needed, that's been
Yes.
needed. So before we get into that, I always like to pull the curtain and say,
Mm.
okay, how do you even arrive to being what you do right now?
Sure. Well, yes, that's an incredibly long journey. Um, I happen to be, I look like a person with invisible disabilities because when you look at me, you wouldn't know. I was born with one leg shorter than the other, so I had that at birth. And then when I got into school, they diagnosed me with a ton of learning disabilities. They always called it non-specified learning disabled something. And a few years ago, I had a horrendous car accident where I actually struck my face and my head, and I injured my neck. And in that car accident, also added another one, which was a traumatic brain injury. Um, and I want us to remind ourselves to come back to that piece because this is what kind of struck where I'm at now. And when I was in the well, I'll share it now. When I was in the hospital, they basically labeled me again, and they told me that I was disabled, and I was like, children, hi nurse staff, hi medical team, I've been this way since I was a kid. I'm like, so what, you're gonna just give me another label? And I told them in the hospital, I said, you got to stop talking at me and talk to me.
That's beautiful.
I'm an adult and I'm hurting and I'm in pain and I don't know what's going on.
Mm,
All that I know is that you keep telling me be careful, it's my neck, and and I have a horrible headache that won't go away and I feel woozy all the time. I
mm.
need your help. You guys are medical people, go get some. Don't talk at me anymore.
Thank
So
you.
yes. And so while I was in the hospital, I just kind of was like, I can't even understand this. I'm like, if they're doing this to me, and I was in and out of the hospital that entire year
Mm,
of 21. So if they're doing this to me, I can't imagine what they're doing to others. And so I was already in the disability arena and I had a past jobs in being an employment specialist where I helped people with disabilities get jobs. So
mm,
I was doing advocacy work a while ago. And then I got a license to practice massage and I just been in a treatment room for a number of years and I've been getting, and I could hear the pull back into the disability world.
mm,
And after the car accident, I was like, no, I have to do something in the disability world. It is my mission. I have to. And I heard that voice from God. And, and then about a year and a half to 2 years later, I launched my first magazine and I got a certificate from this program called the Paul Spooner Advocacy Program, where they train people with disabilities to be leaders in advocacy. And I knew that I had to do that. And so I also became a disability inclusion leader for 2 years. And I was in a campaign when the Mass Rehabilitation Commission was changing their name to Massability. And I was getting myself back into the disability world and communicating with them and saying, I need to be back here. I know that I'm an advocate and I need to be doing my work. And the magazine got created and I started trying to get myself back into the educational space again. Yeah.
I'm sitting here. I don't want to put the mouth drop because people be like, "Why is her mouth just open like that?" But
You mic drop.
mic drop, mouth drop. See what you know. What I want to peel back some onions here because when you said that they were labeling you again,
Oh yeah.
oh, I know I want you to just dive into the
Oh yeah.
because I
Like,
hate that. I can't stand that. Yeah.
well, and it's in all of this minority stuff. It's like everything has to be this label. And in the disability world, it's siloed. So you're labeled over here, oh, we all have MS, and oh, we all have autism, and oh, we all have cerebral palsy, and oh, we are all wheelchair users. Do you think they're all the same? Do you think even if you put the label on it that every single one of them is the exact replica of the other? They're human.
Yes.
And, so that label is, I mean, a long time ago was an advocacy campaign where we labeled cans and jars, but we don't label people,
Oh, I love it.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there was an advocacy campaign. And again, it's, you know,
Mhm.
we are human. We are people. There's talents and gifts in every single one of us. So what are those talents and gifts? And if you, as you keep saying, peeling back the onion, maybe
Mhm.
we need to find out who they are and why.
Thank you.
Go to a day treatment center and find out, and look at the reality of what happens in a day hab. A
Yes.
day habilitation center is a place where people who have significant intellectual disabilities,
Mhm.
and they sit in there and they're doing some kind of craft, or maybe they're making a meal,
Mhm.
or maybe they're listening to music.
Mhm.
But I came in, and in my other world, I do therapeutic work. I
Mhm.
came in one day and I gave them all massages, and they're like, why aren't we getting this every day? This is lovely. Like, isn't that a natural thing to say?
Yes. Give me
Wow, I feel really relaxed. Oh, good, because you're human.
yes. So I'm glad that, like I said, I'm glad you dive more into that because, like you said, we are all human beings. We have individual. I always say every
Yeah.
person has an individual gift and talent. So you can't put us in this cookie cutter thing, especially people. And then even with the disability part, like you said, there's a lot, and I know you know this, Queen. A lot of people that are they labeled disabled that are
Yes.
gifted, that are geniuses, that
Yeah.
are that create things that you be like, OMG.
Hmm.
So you can't label a person like that. Yeah. No.
Well, and people with disabilities are artists, they're fathers, they're mothers,
Yes.
they could even be nurses. There's all different. uh, just because
Artists.
you have that label
Mhm.
doesn't mean doesn't mean that they can't do and have that capability.
Mhm. Yes. So this leads right into something wonderful that you talk about is embracing the possibilities.
So there's a couple of things. A lot of things in my business is called the is embracing, because originally named my magazine and media company Inspiring Disability.
Mm.
And there was a whole thing a while back that talked about inspiration porn. It's a thing. And so let's say you go to a basketball game, and at the basketball game, they bring in all of the disabled athletes. But they didn't bring in the other kids from the high school town. They only brought in the disabled athletes. Oh, yay, 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 yay. So you're now exploiting them and celebrating them, but it wasn't inclusive.
Mm.
It wasn't because they were able to play the basketball. It
Wow.
was because they showed up and they were like, yeah, now they're on the display to show how, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And so this whole idea and concept around inspiration porn.
Mhm.
Or I just did an interview for a school, and she showed motivation on a gentleman who had a prosthetic leg,
Mm.
right? Motivation, determination, all of
Mhm.
that. But he had the prosthetic leg, right? But I looked at him from a therapeutic practitioner standpoint, and I went, wait, hold on. That man's athletic. You can't get a body like that because you had the prosthetic leg. You,
Mhm.
you, you have a body like that and a physique like that because you're talented. and you
Yes.
probably have been an athlete your whole life, right?
Right. Yeah.
If you play the cello and you've been in a wheelchair and you play the cello, it's not because
Hmm.
your wheelchair is amazing. It's because you're a cello player and you've been trained in cello
Yes.
for X amount of years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm a massage therapist. I'm licensed. I've gone to continuing ed. I'm a good massage therapist and I get my reviews that I'm
Hmm.
a great massage therapist and I'm great at what I do
Hmm.
because of the talent, the experience, the practice, the training I have. Nothing to do with I'm learning disabled. Nothing.
Right there. That's another mic
Mhm.
drop. Another.
There's the mic drop,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you
All
said.
of these things have nothing to do with the disability. It has to do that we're human and we go and we train in whatever we are. If we're a great teacher, there's a young lady online who's a great teacher,
Yeah.
right? And she teaches, she wants to teach the learning disabled and autistic kids because she gets it from the autistic point of view,
Yeah.
but she's a great teacher and she's gone to school and gotten all of her courses, all of her advanced education because she wants to have that motivation to be great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as you said, Queen, we got to look, and I know you're such, like I said, an advocate. We got to look beyond that
Hmm.
disability that people put in. They look at that first, and that needs to be put to the side and say, okay, first of all, it's a human being. They have gifts. They have talent. They're educated. They're humans, like you said. I mean, we
Yep.
can go on the list. I mean, you mentioned just a few examples. I mean, you got business people. You got people that
Oh,
owns multiple, everything.
yeah.
They
Hmm.
might have that disability part of it, but that's not stopping them from what they do. That's not them.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
not. Yeah.
So yeah, so my whole embracing what's possible that I really feel is true, and this is the name of the new show that I just started. Um, and it happens to be on that other queen, Elena Rodriguez Prospera network.
Yes.
So on that network, I created this show, which is so exciting, and it's about taking a small leap and saying, wait, I might be able to create what's possible. Maybe there's something I want to know about my unlimited possibilities. Maybe there's something that I want to know about that, that I could do that, but, we all need people. I couldn't do this interview alone. I told my coach earlier, I'm like, I don't like talking to air. We need people, and we need people to be doing things with. We need people to be creating things with. So my example is, I like stories and examples a lot. And so my example is I joined this very large women's group of business leaders. And
Mm,
because I've been going in there talking about disability for a while, now people are not afraid to talk about it. People show up with their businesses and it's not a stigma in there.
mhm,
And people also are saying, "Hey, I'm an ADHD coach. Hey, I do neurodiversity. Hey, I'm spicy neurodiverse." So
mhm,
it's not it's not the fear-based anymore of, "Oh, I shouldn't really talk about that because that's a stigma." Where
mhm,
we've now moved into that. But here's where the gets beautiful. I've created relationships out of that group. I have friendships out of that group. I have vendors that are my friends and my business besties out of that group. And how wonderful that we get to have business meetings. We get to have connections. We get to make friendships. And and that's another problem in the whole other disability world too.
yeah,
Is if you're an adult with a disability, where are your friends, that are hanging out with you? Or you're only able to go to the bowling alley and hang out with the disabled people
mm,
at the bowling alley and drink pizza, drink Coke, and have a pizza. You might be 24 years old, but maybe you're not allowed to drink that beer. Or maybe if somebody is saying that you can't even have the beer.
mhm,
There was I don't remember who did it, but there was a great video that came out a few months ago, and there's a bunch of different types of people with disabilities that are in that video, and they're talking about, I want to be where the decisions are made. Mom and dad are in the bedroom speaking around the daughter of what she's going to wear to the wedding.
Mm.
And she keeps listening in the doorway, and they're like, yeah, this is going to be so pretty on her. Yeah, we're going to. But she's like, no, I want to be where the decisions are. And she comes in some like 1984 Madonna looking thing saying, this is what I'm wearing to the wedding. And great, go girl. Same little actress. She was the one in Champions. She's the one that also did a video and talked about, you say that I can't do Shakespeare, so I can't do Shakespeare. You
Mm.
say I can't have a drink, and so you give me milk.
Mm.
Well, I want my cocktail, but again, like somebody rolls into the meeting and says, I want to be where the decisions are. You can't be making this train station without talking to a person with a disability. I'm talking to my marketing manager about a survey, and I put together a whole bunch of interesting questions, and I found this old survey, and I said, and I giggled because it was made by the brand Patagonia. And I giggled and I said, do you see the difference of
Mm.
where Patagonia was asking questions, but not a person with a disability was in the room
Yeah.
being asked, what questions should we
Mm.
ask? No background in not using any disability language. And so that's the whole thing. It's like, that's the other thing. Talk with people with disabilities. I'm about to embark on a whole thing around um I'm about to embark on a whole thing around clothing and potentially accessories.
Oh.
And yes, and so I'm putting together market research because you cannot do any of this without including people with disabilities. So I'm going to need to talk to the parents. I'm going to need to talk to the parents. I'm going to need to talk to people and have focus groups and have town halls and go
Mm.
and meet with people and show them, hey, these are the features in this, but this doesn't mean that these are going to be the only clothing made. This just means that this is the first prototype, and let's start putting a spotlight on an accessibility and tell us what you want. Victoria's Secrets, they made underwear with hooks on the side. If somebody has a problem and they're already in pain, why are they going to want to put a hook
Thank
on
you.
the right? Like there's
Yeah.
hooks on the side of the underpants for a person with a disability. How are
Mm.
they going to clasp them?
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So we have to think more out of the box and
Thank you.
include people in out of the box
Mm.
that need to go into these places and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we want to include you in this and we want to have more dialogue."
Love it. All these mic drops. It's like, I love how you said, and Queen, oh my God, you're so right. How are you going to make decisions and you don't even understand what they deal with on a day-to-day basis?
No,
And no one's
I
in
don't
the
even know.
room that is dealing with those decisions. No one in that room is not the one that has to deal with it every day. I love how you said that. That is so important.
I'm
So,
not a wheelchair user. I don't know. I
yeah,
only know it from my perspective. I'm not a person with autism. I don't know. I don't know it from their perspective.
yeah,
I'm not a I don't know. I do know that what I do know is I care.
yeah,
What I do know is that I've been in the industry.
yeah,
I'm a part of that community.
yes,
Um, and what I do know is I have a little bit more understanding than the average bear.
yeah.
And
I
so,
say the same thing. I say that.
right, I have a little more understanding of it than an average everyday person would.
And
And so,
you connect with them well, and you understand.
yes.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, you really do, Queen. And
And
and we need more advocate. We need to like
we
multiply.
do need more advocates.
We
And
really
the small secret is that I'm just getting myself back
mm,
into that community, and I'm not as locked in as I used to be. When I was in Arizona, I was really locked in.
mm,
So I'm hoping that the spotlight on accessibility and clothes and other things that I'm working on is going to give me that foot back into the door.
But you know what? Even before, I just got to let you know this, Queen. Even with before you start that other empire that you're about to do with the clothes,
Yeah, yeah.
just your passion, your heart, and you talking about and giving people awareness, that alone is powerful. Just to let you know, I want to give you some love on that.
Well, and I agree, and that's the whole reason why I want the show.
Yeah.
And there's a magazine too, and people can write and contribute to the magazine. I want people to write stories. I encourage people to write stories. I don't know why they don't want to. I think it's tremendous. I would never charge anybody to write for the magazine. Just write and submit a story. It would be empowering for you.
And then give so much. See, awareness is the key, and just understand
Yeah.
the key. And I think a lot of people, like you said a little earlier, Queen, is that when people don't understand something, when people are not aware of it and they don't get the knowledge of it,
Mhm.
and when people start fearing stuff, they start doing
Yes.
wonky things that shouldn't be, like labeling people or
Hmm.
say certain things that, and you're like, okay, you should have said that. That didn't make any
Right.
sense. That's
Well,
what
even though they don't know that I'm disabled, I'm targeted a lot. Like it's weird. Like
it's.
even though they don't know that I'm disabled, they're like they're they do things that are like, well, why'd you do that? And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. I'm like, what do you mean, why did I do that? Well, maybe because I didn't understand the process. Well, how does that work? And I have learning disabilities. Sometimes when I'm writing that, I have just something called dysgraphia, and I omit a word or out, and then it looks like I'm coming across aggressive, and I'm not trying to be aggressive at all. That I got is love in my heart, and I want to give everybody a big hug, and so I'm like aggressive. I'm not trying to be aggressive. I'm just speaking with my passionate heart, and it comes out all fuzzy and wrong because people don't understand, and it's hard. So even when I'm invisible disability, it's sometimes hard because they can't see that I don't have a cane. They can't see that I don't have a wheelchair, and I don't have a crutch, and I don't have a walker.
Yeah. But you know what I love too, Roxy, is that it just not just you, but everybody that you talk to about disability, who's disabled, they label that. I hate the label, so I hate to even say that, but
Don't
they don't
like the
use it
label.
as excuses for
Oh
them to
yeah.
do the impossible, like you always say. And that's why I love you on this show, and I love how you're talking about it because everything you said, like you said, what you deal with, far as certain disabilities you have, it has not stopped you.
Mm.
It has not stopped you. Now,
Especially after the hit on the head.
and that's what I want to say. Even that point
Mhm.
alone, I mean, you've been aggressively, like you said, dealing with this stuff in your,
Oh, very much so. My whole life. It's been
and
not an easy life.
you could have just said, you know what, forget it.
Mhm.
I have this thing, and I'm just gonna
Mhm.
just lay it down and let it go. But you didn't do that. You didn't do that.
Well, the option would have been that I would have been poor, and I would have been sitting on disability, and I would have been crying to even get that.
Yeah, and a lot of
And
people are there too, of course.
struggling and suffering, and I was like, well, what's a better option?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
What's a better option? And I also had a mom who was very disabled. She was mentally ill, and she really struggled and suffered in her life. I think her learning disabilities were so severe, and then I think it even depressed her more that she passed them on to me. And I looked at her, and and Beverly, I was like, sorry, Barbara. I I looked at her, and I was like, Mom, I was like, there's got to be more. I'm like, no, because she
Yeah,
didn't work. She couldn't work. It was really hard for her whenever I tried to see her get a job. And
yeah,
I was like, no, there's got to be more.
yeah.
There's got to be more. And there's no way that I want to live my life in so much pain and sorrow.
No, no. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember who said this. I think it was Shirley Chisholm, where she said, if they don't, have a table for you or whatever back, do you make your own table? See, we have to do that now more and more, and you're making
More
it
and more,
available
yeah.
for people to say, look, first of all, they're human, they're individual, they got gifts, they have a life just like you. To stop it,
Hmm.
stop the madness, right? And I just love you
Hmm.
for that. I just love you for that.
Well, and it's so amazing that, why should we not empower? some a population that every single minority can get into. Every minority,
Yeah,
every human
right.
may have an opportunity to get into this challenging space.
I like that.
It's
That's very
it's
good.
an open door for
Yeah.
anyone to get into. Not that we want you there, but anyone could have this problem at any time in their life,
Any,
right?
yeah.
And so why would we want you to learn that suffering is the only way?
Mm. Mm. And that's
Why would we want you to learn that you can just get to supper and wallow and be in sadness over the fact that you now have a label?
yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that you use that label as a lighthouse for others to show you don't have to do that. You don't have to suffer. There
Embrace
is
what's possible.
there's
Find it.
yeah, impossible. The
Embrace what's possible.
yes. Well, Queen, I could, like I said, I love the conversation with you, but
Mhm.
no, I gotta let you go. You're a celebrity, so I know you got a lot of stuff going on. But you gotta leave us some golden nuggets. So I'm gonna take myself down and I'm gonna let you give
Okay.
us some golden nuggets. I'll be right back.
Fabulous. Hi there. Thank you again so much for having me. You know, it's really true, and we can't be alone, so we need to find each other. We need one another. And I really want us to sparkle. I want us to be shining bright stars. We have something in us that is a gift, and find it, get somebody else to find it, have somebody support you in finding it, but find out what that gift is and shine it as bright as you possibly can, because you have something amazing in you. And that could be the gardening club, that could be a walk and roll club, that could be a dining group, and that could be that business dream that is sleeping in the closet. So keep finding that light and find your people so you can create what's possible for yourself, because there are endless possibilities out there, and there's endless programs and endless things that you can find that can take you into another direction. Reach out. I'm a guide and a mentor. You need my help, we're going to figure out a way to get you guided into something. I have a confidence journal on Amazon that is, if you go to the website, you can see all of the things that are available. And please write for the magazine. Just write for us, because we need your stories. We need your voice. And having that voice out there could help another human being. And that's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to help one another. And that is just a blessing. And that truly is why we exist. We need to help one another.
With that, Roxy, I can't say nothing else, but I just appreciate you so much. Love, love,
Mm.
love, and show the love to you. I just felt it. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I almost feel like crying and I don't want to go.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
please.
trying to hold myself here, but
I'm holding you. I'm giving you a great big hug.
I need it right now. I really do. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. And that's why I love doing this show, because I want to show, just like how this wonderful, precious queen, Roxy, is helping so many. And you know what? One of the things she said real quickly, the gift that we all have, that gift in us. I talk about that. That's why me and her connect, because she knows how important that is. People's gift need to shine throughout everything else that's going on, that chaotic stuff around us. So thank you, Roxy, for being that gift for the world, being a lighthouse to so many others. So
Yeah,
many others, lady. Mm.
it's an honor. Honor. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God. Okay. So with that, people,
Mhm.
you can reach Roxy. I'm going to make sure it's in the show notes. Get to her, get to her website, send those articles to her. We need the awareness out there. We need to hear your
Yes.
stories. People need to hear connection. When they're connected to you, people move from that. They
Mhm.
need to be active on that. So please, I'm an advocate for Roxy. So with that said, we'll see you at the next
Mhm.
Coaches Lounge. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate you so much.
Oh my gosh, it was a pleasure.